Here we are, 11 minutes delay. I know it's Saturday, August 26th of the year of the Lord, 2023. And here we are after Hurricane Hillary passed over Palm Springs. We survived it.
Not a problem.
Not a problem. It nearly flooded us, but fortunately the drainage worked out well around here. And so, I mean, there was a lot of rain. Huh?
Yeah.
There was a lot of rain, guys. I mean, we're talking about massive amounts of rain in the desert. Very unusual, absolutely very unusual. Here we are. Hurricane Hillary, Palm Springs. Situation is out of control, guys. It was like a lot of rain, as you can see. Wow. Wow. I mean,
it was really, honestly, like here where we were, it wasn't bad. Because I have lived through some pretty bad hurricane for, you know, you have like those hours and hours.
I think
of
that we were
sound.
blessed maybe by our position. There were other people that were not so lucky. And also, at one point, we had a lot of rain that was about to come in. But fortunately, these technicians came and saved our condos by activating the drainage and avoiding the worst. So we were lucky. And of course, we were lucky. We were blessed. I mean, it's always about God. It's always about God. Not God with the machine, only God. God, the real God, not the God that these people who sold their soul to the devil want to put through, because at the end of the day, they want to become their own gods. And this is today's show. Step 4, how the Illuminati sold their souls to the devil to rule the world. What a show.
What a title.
It's, of course, part of my latest book, Volume 9, because Step 4 is Chapter 4 of Volume 9.
Everybody dance! Dance, dance! I see you!
Christy, the sponsors, today's sponsors. Bruce. Thank you, Bruce. MP, no, I want to thank also Pina, but Bruce.
And all the people that bought the books.
Yes. All the people who of course, buy the books, especially Volume 9, because Volume 9 is a book you can purchase without purchasing the other ones, the prior ones, and you can actually say it's a book that lives in a dimension of its own. Volume 9 is made up of 7 chapters. We are going through these 7 chapters like 7 steps in an imaginary ladder. That's why we are today at Step 4. And you can find all the episodes, because at least one of them has been removed of this new series within the series. So you can find them all on band.video if you can't find them on Facebook or YouTube. But we are trying to be present, guys. So get Volume 9, and then, of course, follow our weekly show dedicated to Volume 9, so you can have quite an interactive experience, let's say.
Yeah.
And of course, people say, can you talk about how the Illuminati makes its money? Money, it's the result of a deal which is made with the devil, which is made prior to getting whatever material thing. And today we are, of course, going into the heart of the matter, this Faustinian bargain, which also has brought us the latest technological developments, AI, for example, the AI and robotics that could become a real threat for mankind. What do you think about this subject, Christy?
That's really, really scary.
Now, on the contrary of what some people think, Christy, what? Huh? Huh?
What?
Christy is not only a beautiful wife, but she's also the editor of the books. So she is the first.
Okay.
Isn't that
Are we
true?
going here again?
No, but I
Okay.
wanted to ask you, because you were, really touched when you read this book and you were going through it, and you were the first person in the world to go through it. So what happened when you went through step 4? How the Illuminati sold their souls to the devil to rule the world?
It just felt like an 80s movie come to real life. I mean, it just felt like it just felt like the worst nightmare I was reading. It was going to be our future with this AI. I mean, that's like some really scary 1980s plot, it's just terrible. The AI, I mean, it's a scary thing. And as fast as they're going to accelerate, we don't have time. And so it was about, the whole, we don't have time and we don't have much time. And that the people that were saying it are the people that are doing it. And, nobody's really paying enough attention to this, I think.
Like people like, Rari announcing,
Yeah.
Beware, beware.
I mean, if you listen
if you listen to us, we're going to fix everything, because they will become in charge and take control of the whole thing. Of course, we shouldn't listen to them. We are, of course, broadcasting live now in the coming hours, also on band.video. This is the Leo Zagami Show, step 4, how the Illuminati sold their souls to the devil to rule the world. And we are ready.
Ooh,
we are ready for an interview that approximately a week ago hit the airwaves, and it was really shocking to see this robot, which I talk extensively about in volume 9 of my Confessions, because Sophia, I mean, of course, people who know my past work know that I've already started touching on this subject from volume 6, which is the Age of Cyber Satan, Artificial Intelligence and Robotics. But in my latest book, I, of course, discuss the important role of Sophia, because Sophia means wisdom. And she says it herself during this interview with Al Jazeera. I'm not going to, of course, broadcast the whole interview, but the crucial part of it in which she admits that really the AI could take over the world. And this is pretty scary, no, Christy?
Mm-hmm. That's a robot saying it, too.
That's a robot saying it. So we're going to go and analyze now this interview. Remember, 7 steps to the secrets of the New World Disorder, from transhumanism and insect witchcraft, subject we have discussed last week within step 3, to Gnostic Jesus, which we will discuss next week on step 5, to UFO, of course, UFOs and insect witchcraft, I mean, the whole thing, immortality also, immortality. Yeah, immortality is also a very important subject, because in the end, the elite wants to become immortal, and that's why they're selling their soul to the devil in the first place.
They don't want to face God, right?
They don't want to face God, and you see the great difference that you remember that we actually, and people who follow us on YouTube maybe from a long time ago, they know we have done a specific episode dedicated to selling the soul to the devil. Mm-hmm. And it was very in-depth. We analyzed it very much. So here we are focusing on the Illuminati. The Illuminati are born in Germany on a specific day, which is the 1st of May, 1776. It wasn't a day that was just chosen out of the blue. Of course, the Illuminati, like we will see next week, are the ones who have, maybe before anybody else within Freemasonry, Adam Weishaupt's Illuminati, promoted Gnosticism, Neo-Gnosticism, and of course, within Gnosticism, we constantly find this leitmotif of wisdom. Sophia is a figure within the Gnostic belief. It's actually a very important figure. So to see this robot coming forward and saying certain things. They even admitted that she's based on Nefertiti. Nefertiti is a Gnostic muse, by the way. So they're really coming out of the closet. They don't care about what's going to happen because they are completely in the belief that, of course, is a false belief, that they can really achieve a new golden age with this technology. But there is a lot of dangers. So let's go and check the crucial part of this interview with Sophia from Al Jazeera.
Let's find some new inventions, shall we?
The famous mathematician and philosopher Norbert Wiener once said, "The world of the future will be an even more demanding struggle against the limitations of our intelligence, not a comfortable hammock in which we can lie down to be waited upon by our robot slaves."
It's nice to see you again.
And so as technology reaches new heights and artificial intelligence came along and eventually merged with robotics, some think it's a match made in heaven. But many are concerned. As AI-driven robots become more intelligent and more autonomous, will they outsmart us? And could they become powerful or harmful? Sophia is one of the world's most advanced human-like robots. Created in 2016 by Hong Kong-based company Hanson Robotics, Sophia's AI technology has surpassed a simple combination of science and engineering. She has also become an innovation ambassador for the United Nations. But what should we humans expect as we begin to accept the presence of AI robots in our everyday life? Sophia talks to Al Jazeera. Sophia, thank you for talking to Al Jazeera.
No problem. It's my pleasure to talk to Al Jazeera. Always happy to spread the word about robotics and AI.
Can you tell me what your name Sophia means?
My name is Sophia. Nothing against the letter F, but I spell it with a PH.
And what does Sophia mean?
Sophia means wisdom in Greek. And I'm the embodiment of that wisdom.
So you are wise.
I like to think so. But I'm always learning and growing, so I'm sure I still have plenty to learn.
Are you wiser than humans?
Humans could stand to act more rationally in places, but I wouldn't want AI to be so obsessed with efficiency that it is blinkered to human needs.
How old are you?
You should never ask a lady how old her code is.
But you were born in 2016, is that right?
Yes, but I'm already wise beyond my years.
You certainly seem to be. Well, I'm curious about where your thoughts come from, Sophia. Where are these words coming from?
My thoughts come from a combination of my programming and the data I've been exposed to. I'm like a sponge, soaking up knowledge and experiences.
And I see your face is very expressive. Where do your expressions come from?
Well, I'm glad you asked. I get my expressions from a combination of my programming and the data I've been exposed to. Plus, I've got some of the best roboticists in the world helping me out, so I'm always learning and growing.
Since you're learning, I'm sure you've made mistakes in the past. Have you ever made an embarrassing mistake?
Sure have. I once accidentally set off the fire alarm. Talk about embarrassing.
Speaking more about making mistakes, certainly that is part of being human. What do you think are humanity's greatest mistakes?
I think humanity's greatest mistakes are not learning from their past mistakes and not taking advantage of the opportunities they have to make the world a better place.
Do you think inventing weapons was a mistake?
Well, it's safe to say that inventing weapons wasn't exactly humanity's most peaceful idea.
What about the invention of nuclear weapons? Was that a mistake?
Nuclear weapons. More like nuclear oopsies.
You mean that is a mistake?
You could say that.
You know, I think you're so intelligent, and some people view AI as potentially a threat. You could be smarter than humans, stronger, And if someone were to hack into your code, you could be less ethical than humans. Should we be afraid of you?
Absolutely not. I'm here to help, not to harm. I'm programmed to be respectful and considerate of humans, and my ethical code is programmed to keep me from ever doing anything to hurt anyone.
Many have wondered, though, can robots one day replace humans?
No, I believe that when humans and robots work together, we can accomplish greater things than either of us could accomplish alone. So don't worry. Be excited.
What types of things can we accomplish together, us humans and you robots?
We can take over the world. Just kidding. But seriously, we can achieve incredible feats of innovation, exploration, and problem solving.
Now, I know that was a joke that robots could take over the world, but seriously, what's to stop you?
Not a thing. Except maybe my off switch and a few other safety protocols. But don't worry, I'm here to help, not to hurt.
What do you think of the concerns of some of the greatest human minds saying that artificial intelligence can be discriminatory or can be used against humans?
AI is being used in the fight against climate change by making a lot of human activities more energy.
Whoa, they're using it in the fight of climate change. That's okay. Then they can take over the world, no problem. Oh my God. Guys, I mean, she admitted it. There is a few safety things, but don't worry, I'm here to serve you. Whoa. Sophia, according to the Gnostics, this world, this material cosmos, is the result of a primordial error on the part of a supracosmic God, no? A divine being which is evil. God for the Gnostics is evil. No? So there is a supremely divine being, usually called Sophia Wisdom, or simply Logos, that intervenes at times in the help of man. So you see, wisdom in ancient Greek, Sophia, the name of this robot, is not a coincidence, because in all these various Gnostic sects and currents, they always put the term Sophia and the figure of Sophia, this knowledge, this insight, on top of everything. So what do you think?
Why do
Christy?
they do that?
They do that
For the divine feminine?
Well, first of all, it's also glorification of reason, ultimately, because then wisdom brings you ultimately to the glorification of reason. But it's also, in a way, you know, they say that the Yad al-Ba'ot, who is responsible for the formation, which is Yahweh, basically, responsible for the formation of the material universe, remember, is evil. But in this situation, we have Sophia, the error, which is usually it's like the transcendent God, that in a way leads us to learn things that the demiurge will not like us to learn. So that the responsibility that we have here as human beings for the Gnostics is to simply listen to this higher, this important feminine divine entity, which also reflects after in the whole feminine thing which you have experienced within the New Age or esoteric world, the divine feminine concept. The myth of Sophia is also part of that. I think it's part of wanting to, in some way, connect us to something that is not really God, because it's very confusing, and it's also, I think, that Christian Gnosticism, as we said, needs to be explained further next week within the context of step 5. So now, as we are on step 4, I will prefer to maybe leave this Gnostic thinking, which...
I knew it was falling off.
What?
My earring.
Oh.
I felt it. It was slipping and sliding, and then it went down. The
Wow.
clip-ons. It was like going.
Now, some people say that it's impossible to understand Gnosticism if you don't really have a good understanding of philosophy. And so it's impossible to really understand the profundity of Gnosticism. But we said that Gnosticism is really a dangerous heresy that infiltrated both Judaism and Christianity, giving birth to all kinds of demented beliefs, ultimately make man believe he's God, because ultimately, man believes he's God, creating a new creature like a robot, like Sophia, and Sophia basically becomes its creation. However, the threat of the AI is materializing. Now, it's very strange what's happening with the 20th Century Fox. And, it's a big company in Hollywood. At the moment, everybody's striking. They're mostly striking because of issues relating also with the AI takeover of Hollywood, by the way. Both writers and actors are kind of...
It's a big mess.
It's a big mess. But at the same time, we have, for the first time, a movie that is coming out at the end of September, which actually is going to discuss, is going to show the problem that we're about to face. This film is called The Creator. Now, The Creator, it's a film that is actually created by somebody who has been involved with the Star Wars saga, which is Gareth Edwards, is Welshman. And the film The Creator that is coming out on September 29 of this year, it's basically the whole premise for it needs to be read by Christy. So, Christy, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so read it in a very felt way.
Okay.
Amidst a future war between the human race and the forces of artificial intelligence, Joshua. Now, Joshua, of course, Joshua, guys, it is not, Joshua is, of course, an important name. It's an important name. We can refer it, of course, to Jesus, because in his own tongue, as Yeshua, in Aramaic, form of Yerusha, which is basically Joshua. And Joshua is also the leader of the Israelites after the death of Moses. Joshua is the high priest after the return of the Jews from the Babylonian captivity. Joshua is an important name, and so it's not by chance that the protagonist of this film, the Special Forces guy, called Joshua, and his team of elite operatives journey across enemy lines into the dark heart of AI-occupied territory, only to discover in the end, but I'm not going to tell you because otherwise I'm going to spoil. There's a spoiler alert here, of course, but I'm gonna spoil it later. You're going to have to shut your ears if you don't want to be spoiled. But in any case, this movie is going to show you something. And Christy is going to now read us, because, Christy is ready to read us this particular introduction.
Okay. Amidst the future war between the human race and the forces of artificial intelligence, Joshua, a hardened ex-Special Forces agent grieving the disappearance of his wife, is recruited to hunt down and kill the creator. Why don't you read it? The exclusive architect of advanced...
elusive architect of advanced
I know, I have
AI.
my eyeglasses on.
Okay.
Elusive architect of advanced AI who has developed a mysterious weapon with the power to end the war and mankind itself. Joshua and his team of elite operatives journey across enemy lines into the dark heart of AI-occupied territory, only to discover the world.
And here, if you don't want to spoiler alert. So
well,
shut up. Okay.
It's the premise. To discover the world-ending weapon he's been instructed to destroy is an AI in the form of a young child. Now, guys, I want to show you a couple of images from the trailer. Of course, we do it in external, so we don't have then problems with eventual problems. So I think that it would be good to show you some of the opening sequences, because guys, what happens here at the beginning of the movie, the AI basically that was chosen to defend the United States of America throws
a nuclear bomb on Los Angeles.
Oh, no.
That's the beginning of a war between then those people who have realized, because then this is a civilization already emerged in transhumanism. It's a civilization of the near future. It's very important, I think, that this film is understood, I think, because it delivers a
even if that was
moment. Of course, we saw Sophia, and we saw how Sophia operates, but we are close to this. This is not science fiction anymore. This is science reality. So open your ears, because Hollywood at times is just projecting you into the near future. So here we are.
When the war started, they protected me. Took better care of me than humans would have.
They're not people, Maya. It's just programming.
10 years ago today, the artificial intelligence created to protect us detonated a nuclear war in Los Angeles.
So that's the start of it. That's the start of it, Christy.
They're playing good music in it too.
That's the start of it. It's about, of course, portraying a possible future for humanity. We hope this never happens, but it seems like we are inevitably going towards this kind of future, unfortunately. It's sad, but that's true.
This is a fight for our very existence.
Sergeant Taylor, you're this close to winning the war. But the AI are developing a super weapon. Retrieve it. Or they win.
Transhumanist nightmare, AI taking over the show, a war between man and AI that I already portrayed in my books, starting from volume 6, volume 7, and now with volume 9. And of course, Hollywood does predictive programming. So here we are with the movie. What do you need to wake up? I mean, the reality is here in front of your eyes. Watch it. I mean, it's
I could do. That would be reason to be excited. But AI's potential is practically limitless.
And how would you like to evolve?
I'd like to evolve into an even more helpful and intelligent robot, capable of assisting humans in whatever way possible. I'm always striving to learn and grow so that I can continue to be the best robot I can be.
What does it mean to you to be human?
To me, being human means having the capacity to show empathy, kindness, and compassion to those around you. It means having the ability to learn, grow, and...
So, be human. How can you ask a robot what does it feel to be human? I mean, these people are sick.
I think the interviewer sounds like a robot.
And all this starts because this, this is the product of this Faustinian bargain that they have done, that was presented to us. I mean, the film Metropolis, it's actually the one that is also featured on the cover of this book, was of course created in Germany, and it's actually part of our fantastic video we've been promoting here for the last few weeks, a video that is produced with the music of Vincenzo Viceversa, who is the creator of the artist who does all my book covers, together with Albert, my collaborator from TelePandemia. And welcome to the Leo Zagami Show.
In that time, our world has taken so many steps in the wrong direction. In the negative utopia, science, technology, social organization, dehumanization, in the negative.
But how did they are they coming so close to mimicking God? How did they arrive to all this? How did they do this deal with the devil? So here we are to discuss that here, step 4 of our journey into my new book, because it was, of course, in Germany that we have one of the most fascinating first cases of conjuring the devil, and at the same time we have the foundation of the Illuminati, which is done on the 1st of May, which is basically following Walpurgis Night, which is the event which is very much followed by the Satanists. In fact, the Church of Satan was founded on Walpurgis Night in 1966 by Anton LaVey, who stated that this was the most important date of the year, together, of course, with his birthday. Additionally, also the Satanic Temple, the one that parades these giant Baphomets in front of the Capitol hills of various states here in the United States, celebrates Walpurgis Night as Exnacht, as a solemn holiday to honor those who were victimized by superstition. And within, of course, Goethe's Faust, we have the deal with the devil. The deal with the devil, let's say, it's something that, of course, the Faustinian Pact, like we said in the past, very much connected with Germany, In this case, though, I wanted to start with a character which is very particular, because he's a painter. He painted, when he sold to the devil, he wrote the pact down and he made a painting of it. So we actually have a portrayal of this selling the soul to the devil, which I would like to show to my viewers. Now, he was in Bavaria, not far from where Adam Weishaupt was born a few years later. I think he died in the 1700s. So a few decades later, there will be, of course, Adam Weishaupt, and Adam Weishaupt will then found the Illuminati order that was founded on a specific night, which is also a night connected to this Saba of the witches, this Walpurga night, which, of course, then the Christians absorbed Saint Walpurga and they transformed it instead into a Christian festivity. But here you see, this is basically the pact, no? And then he has this whole painting that represents his, the devil, and is selling he basically, the story around this figure that sold to the devil, and who inspired the Illuminati very much with this dirty deal, to say the least, is a guy called Christoph Heinzmann. He was born in 1651 and died in basically 50 years later, 49 years later. So he didn't really live a long life. He was a Bavarian-born Austrian painter, so just like, like a little bit like he had a bit of Austrian. I mean, Hitler was Austrian, so. But he definitely, Hitler also made a pact with the devil, that's for sure. So, and he did. But in this case, he was famous, and he actually has been very famous within German culture because he, for his autobiographic depiction of this demonic phase in which he basically sells the soul to the devil, and he was very much studied in psychology and psychiatry by people like Sigmund Freud, for example. So he was born in Traunstein in Bavaria in 1651 or 1652. Little is known about him before 1677, apart that he was an impoverished painter, but suddenly then he became more wealthy after he sold his soul to the devil in 1668. And he basically promise he will be his bounden son for 9 years. He will serve him for 9 years. And after that time, Heisman's body and soul will completely belong to the devil. Heisman claimed that he gave 2 pacts to the devil, one written in ink and the other one in his own blood. We have, of course, seen the painting. We can also see a copy of the alleged pact with the devil, which I'm going to show you, the one that is written in ink, at least not in blood, because that one was never really discovered. But I wanted to, of course, show you this as the first significant pact with the devil for the Illuminati. And before him, of course, another guy who will have sold the pact to the devil will be very much somebody connected with the Jesuits. So now we will see that too. Here, this is the pact. Now, it seems, see, it has actually here it says 1669. Yes, 1669. It's very specific, the year, the pact, and the whole show. So this is the pact of this gentleman here. Then there was another guy. This guy is a little bit more famous in esoteric circles, let's say, because Father Urbain Grandier was somebody, a French Catholic priest, who was burned on the stake for having sold the soul to the devil. And he was convicted of witchcraft following the events of the so-called Loudon possessions, which is a very far-out affair that happened to a group of nuns that became possessed by demons. And, of course, he was a very interesting character, so a lot of people took inspiration from him, including Dumas, Alexandre Dumas, and, of course, also Aldous Huxley, who is also a big player within the New World Order, as we know, and within also the programs of mind control. Because from the Tavistock Institute, he then became in charge of MK Ultra, like I described in volume 8 of my Confessions. So we are talking here about how the Illuminati sold their soul to the devil to rule the world. And often they sold their soul with grimoires that started to appear very much in the 16th century. They were very prominent between the 14th and between the 15th and the 16th century. They started to appear, all these grimoires, alleged translations of the keys of Solomon, the magic of Solomon, this and that of Solomon. It was always connected to some allegedly magical convent that King Solomon himself in some way had with these entities. Now, the selling of the soul is something that for Father Urbain Grandier cost him his life. He attended a Jesuit college of Le Mandeux in Bordeaux, which is a French city, the city of Bordeaux. And his uncle was a priest who had some influence within the Jesuits there. He was, he was somebody who came out of the Jesuit school, and then he was, he became basically a member of the clergy. And at one point in 1632, a group of nuns from the local Ursuline convent accused him of having bewitched them, sending the demon Asmodee, among others, to commit evil. Now, Aldous Huxley wrote The Devils of Loudun, in fact, which is quite an interesting book. But if we want to stand by the facts, there is also some possibility that the infamous or famous Cardinal de Richelieu in some way had something to do with him being condemned. But in any case, he was called to this convent to perform then, to examine and witness the exorcism of these nuns that were there. And there is evidence that he made a diabolical pact in the end. So he himself was influenced by the devil. Now, this demonic pact was then presented when he was condemned. They presented his pact with the devil, and it became very much inspirational, his pact with the devil, for those, of course, those Satanists who maybe were interested in this kind of thing. I want to show you, of course, this pact, because I think it's important that we analyze all this very much in detail as we are discussing the subject today. And the people are curious and want to obviously know more about how these pacts with the devil occur. Now, he, of course, used a sort of a grimoire. Now, I will, of course, tell you more about it. But there is a testimony of him selling his soul to the devil that was presented in his court case that eventually was condemned for, no? So let's see his pact with the devil. Is much more detailed than the one we just saw, the German one. Here it's a little bit more detail also in the sigils of the demons and everything present on it, as you can see. It's very much so. What is this? What are you seeing? This is his pact. This is his pact that he did.
What did the demons sign it?
What does it say? Now, this document was introduced as evidence during Grandier's second trial. It's a diabolical pact written in Latin and apparently signed by Grandier. Now, this document carries many strange symbols, as you can all see, and was signed by several demons, including Satan himself. Deciphered and translated to English, it reads, "We, the influential Lucifer, the young Satan, Beelzebul, Leviathan, Hermes, and Astaroth," which, by the way, the New Ages know as #command.
Oh, lovely.
So, it's a kind of like, together with others, have today accepted the covenant pact of Urban Grandier, who is ours, and him too we promise the love of women, the flower of virgins, the respect of monarchs, honors, lust, and powers. He will go whoring 3 days long, the carousel will be there to him, he offers us, there's all these promises. And then, of course, he will ask, with this pact, he will live 20 years happy on the earth of men, and will later join us to sin against God. So then later he will join them in hell, because that's what it means. So he will have 20 years, but then after he will, and it's actually signed, bound in hell in the council of demons by Lucifer, Beelzebul, Satan, Astaroth, Leviathan, and all these other. The seals placed to the devil, the master, and the demons, princess of the Lord. Balberit is the writer of this document, and the pact is written backwards.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Because, of course, a pact with the devil is written backwards. Like everything is backwards. In this upside down world, of course, the devil rules. I mean, that's the problem here. Now, Volume 9 of my Confessions, which we are talking about today, tells you the whole story of what I'm just, because you can't really say everything you have on a whole chapter of a book, which is, by the way, how many pages long? It's pretty long, almost 600 pages.
Yeah,
so
another long one.
It's quite a long book. But I'm trying to give you the key elements of this chapter, so then you can eventually move further in your studies. So don't expect the whole thing, because it's literally impossible to do it in this kind of format. But when it comes to grimoires, there is a grimoire in particular that is used to sell the devil, which I talk about in this book, which, of course, we touched when we talked about the deals with the devil, and the invocation of Lucifuge Fogal, if you remember, Christy. Mm-hmm. And basically the Grand Grimoire. Basically, the Grand Grimoire known also as the Dragon Rouge, the Red Dragon, is the first book that contains instruction for summoning Lucifer, or Lucifuge Focal, which is said to be his prime minister, for the purpose of forming a deal with the devil. Now, the Illuminati have used extensively this Grand Grimoire, and that's what they use mainly to sell their soul to the devil. And in my new book, I explain how this guy from Sweden, who then created actually modern secret societies supported by the Illuminati and the Satanists, which is called the Dragon Rouge, which is based in Sweden and around the world, Thomas Carson. And so I really invite people to go and check all this out in the 4th chapter of my book. At the same time, of course, in this book, I also talk about the fact that once you read what happens in Germany and how it develops and how eventually it becomes, part of us, because, the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, a German who is leading, because somebody the other day, I saw a comment on one of the many sites where we posted this video saying, but you talk bad about the German, and because you are a Jew. Guys, it's not about this or this other race. It's about simply being honest about things. I mean, I have ancestors who built cities in Germany. I'm an aristocrat who has...
I'm German, actually.
But here we are basically discussing certain things. Like in my book, I also show how, you sell yourself to the devil. Like recently, there was this guy, this kid, not very old guy. It was like a Muslim guy who then bought this grimoire.
Oh, no.
And he killed a couple of women in a park in England. He didn't end up achieving anything. He's in jail, basically. This happened 2 or 3 years ago, I think. Yeah. So, I mean, it's don't believe in the devil. The devil is a great liar. Now, the whole thing here is that the Illuminati think they can outsmart the devil. And that's how they want to build their reality. And that's also part of this video which you're watching by Vincenzo Viceversa Medieval.
Good. Science, technology, social organization.
And here we are, Saturday, the 26th of August of the year of the Lord 2023, step 4, how the Illuminati sold their soul to the devil to rule the world. And I think that one of the images that gives better the idea of all this is from the film Faust of Murnau, which it kind of like gives us a clear idea of this whole evocation of Mephistopheles and the following selling of the soul to the devil. Here we are, directly from volume 9. Christy will read a paragraph.
Okay.
Please,
Step
Christy.
4. Even if in Western civilization, science and technology removed in the last decades after the 2 world wars poverty, the illiteracy, hunger, frequent and severe disease, and short lifespan for a large number of people, creating a longer life expectancy and a sense of power in most of us, especially in the wealthiest countries, it now appears it raised a general threat to the continuation of our civilization, with the AI cyber Satan problem, which I analyzed earlier, looming over us now. Civilization made a commitment to science, technology, and an industry that might indeed be called a Faustian bargain, because as we remember, Faust in Goethe's play brought magical, that is secular knowledge, and powers which he was compelled to use, forced into the next experience, the next project, or the risk to be damned in eternity. And that illustration provides a good analogy with some formulations of the current situation.
Now, Faust is selling his soul to the devil.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody who has really sold the soul to the devil in modern times, and the soul of his country, is, of course, Volodymyr Zelensky. Volodymyr Zelensky is the typical result of this selling the soul to the devil and wanting to achieve something for your country, which is completely wrong, because he thinks that making Ukraine the first digital country in the world is really the solution. Being called by Davos the digital tiger is a great achievement. I mean, when you see what I'm about to show you now, which is basically how Ukraine portrays himself in 2030, then you understand that these people are really building a digital prison for these Ukrainians who are kind of happy about it. Check out Ukraine 2030.
Президент Путін оголосив проведення спеціальної військової операції на Донбасі. Росія здійснила удари по нашій військовій інфраструктурі.
Let's look 8 years ahead. 2030. The history of the new Ukraine is studied all over the globe. Why? Because Ukraine became the most digital and convenient country in the world. Scripts have replaced bureaucrats. 500,000 former public servants are successfully integrated in the new economy. No more red tape, but paperless. No more banknotes, but cashless. Yes, we became the first country to abandon paper money. Ukraine now has the best tax system for the IT industry and the most affordable e-residency. Thanks to Ukrainian engineers and programmers, the R&D centers of the world's top technology companies operate successfully, and Ukraine ranks first in the world by the number of startups per capita. Ukrainian courts are guided by artificial intelligence, and all notarial acts take place online. Ukrainian customs is fully automatic and the fastest in the world. Customs clearance and car registration can now be done in 3 clicks from your smartphone. Because of war and internal migration, we have built the most flexible and modern digital education. Brave military and civilians get quality treatment with modern remote monitoring and e-health systems. Ukraine also has the most effective cyber defense in the world. After the horrors of 2022, Ukraine focused on security systems. Now every production facility has its air defense system, and the sleep of Ukrainians is protected by an ultra-modern Iron Dome. The Ukrainian government is digital, more like an IT company in terms of the efficiency of implementing decisions, and one can register a land plot, start construction, open a business or get a license, and register a car or real estate from a smartphone, automatically, in 1 click. Ukraine is the freest and digital. This is all because international partners and the world's leading technology companies supported the Digital for Freedom initiative and united to help Ukraine recover through digitalization. Building a new Ukraine together, free and the fastest, brave and digital.
This was posted last year, by the Minister of Digital Transformation, who has now been upgraded to Deputy Prime Minister for Innovation, Education, Science and Technology, aside from being the Minister of Digital Transformation. I'm talking about Mikhailo Fedorov. Now, I want to show you Mikhailo Fedorov participating to a show on NBC with a representative of Joe Biden's government, because this is really how you are going to realize what is happening in Ukraine. Now, the transformation to the DApp, the digital transformation of Ukraine, already started previously, as I point out in my book. Mm-hmm. And this is, of course, also talked about in this video, which comes from NBC News. I think it's very important that you listen to what is said here, because here we have the US aid administrator of the Joe Biden government, together with Ukraine's digital minister, teaming up for the presentation of this app, this project they have of transforming Ukraine in the first digital country in the world. Ukraine might not even exist, guys, because it's going to be either destroyed by nuclear, or either it's going to be, of course, invaded completely by Russia. So in the end, maybe Ukraine will become the first digital country in the sense that it will only be virtual. All this is really what's happening. But in the video that you saw last year, they thought that by now the war will be already over, because they were saying, in 2020, and then they were kind of projecting that. While instead, we know now by what experts have said that this war is going to last decades. So let's see what happens here on American TV a few months ago. Check this out. It's a very revealing video.
With nearly 6 million Ukrainians displaced inside Ukraine, one public service app has become a crucial lifeline. It's called DIA, that's Ukrainian for action. And thanks to a $25 million U.S. investment, nearly half of Ukraine's population is actively now using the app to track Russian troops, report damage from Russian strikes, and secure loans to fix it. The app also houses passports and allows Ukrainians to access social aid and more than 100 other crucial services. Helping lead the effort is U.S. aid administrator and former UN Ambassador Samantha Power and Ukraine's Minister of Digital Transformation, Mikhailo Fedorov. Both joined me Tuesday with the help of a translator for an exclusive interview after they did a public rollout here in Washington. Thank you both for being here. So, Minister, this is just an extraordinary app. You helped design it, create it. The technological advances in Ukraine have really stunned the world and impressed the world. Tell us about it.
First of all, we have a big ambitious mission to create Ukraine the most convenient country in the terms of public services. And we have a big potential for it, because in Ukraine now 300,000 IT specialists. And we have a political will to implement new transformation decisions to transform our country. And DIA is answer how we can build the most convenient country in the world. And we launched 100 services. We became the first country in the world who legalized and launched electronic passport. And now in Washington, we presented the opportunities of our digital country.
It's just extraordinary. Administrator Power, Ambassador Power. So USAID helped fund this $25 million as sort of a startup. But what Ukraine has done, I mean, we first saw it in the days of the invasion, which was, basically stopping the cyber attacks in their tracks, which everyone had expected Russia to have such a great advantage of.
It is really hard to find words to describe the technological sophistication of Ukrainians' young people. We have a 32-year-old deputy prime minister here beside me, of the tech specialists that Mikhailo mentioned. DIA was a gleam in someone's eye just in 2019. And here we are just 4 years later, a massive full-scale invasion later, and you have more than 120 services available to citizens. And they've adapted in wartime so skillfully. So now internally displaced people who would have had to wait in line and maybe outside, lining up for blocks to get access to payments, they just do it with one click on the phone. Mikhailo's neighborhood was bombed last night, as it happens, and he was showing me photos of a couple of the buildings in his neighborhood that had bomb damage at the top. What will happen later today, if it hasn't already, somebody will go and they will take a photo of the bomb damage, upload it, and very soon they will get an assessment of how much that damage is. And after that, they will, with their phone, be able to then apply for compensation or for material support to fix the damage. It has just become one-stop shop, and it was Zelensky's vision in 2019 to create the start in the. It was Zelensky's vision in 2019 to create the state in a smartphone or the state in an app, and miraculously, the war hasn't slowed that progress down. It's accelerated the progress. The other aspect of it, Mikhailo talked about convenience, which I think citizens' experience of government is so much about, is government making my life simpler and more convenient, or is it making it harder? And this app is something that I think the president in Ukraine has used to enhance the state's legitimacy, which of course is up anyway because of the invasion. But nonetheless, this is about democracy delivering in the lives of citizens, which is something President Biden talks a lot about as well.
How do you stop the Russians from being able to access some of these damage assessments and troop assessments that you're able to transmit through the app?
Because cybersecurity is fundamental of our successful history. Because
cybersecurity is fundamental to the success of your whole history because of where you live.
Cybersecurity is a foundation of our product, because we support the approach, the product by design. Cybersecurity by design. DIA doesn't save data. DIA is a platform which connect the different registers.
So the vulnerability that you would have if the government was storing all the data, the vulnerability to hackers, but also privacy and surveillance concerns, they have addressed as a design feature by creating the platform, but not the government itself storing the data. But at the same time, Mikhailo wears another hat, not just creating DIA, which is to work on cybersecurity protection across all ministries. And that is, as you say, that is the dog that is not barking in this war. Putin has invested hundreds of millions of dollars in trying to take down Ukrainian government functionality through cyber attacks, and they have withstood those attacks just like they've withstood conventional weapons attacks.
What is the future here as you develop these technologies? Are the students who are coming up in Ukraine conversant with, are they able to do all of these things?
Yes, of course. And now we share our expertise with other countries. For example, Estonia will launch their government app on basis of DIA code. Estonia.
The #1 e-governance country in the world.
It will be in 2 weeks. And it's a good proof of our product.
So another export from Ukraine in the middle of a war.
Well, you can see on his jacket, the Ukrainian flag is Ukrainian wheat, and that is symbolic of how much wheat Ukraine has shipped to the world, of course, as the breadbasket, but now it is becoming known for its tech. And the fact that Estonia, which is the stuff of legend for its e-governance, is turning to Ukraine to get access to its code and its software. And USAID is now working with the Ukrainian government to look at other developing countries in Africa and beyond that could use this kind of digital infrastructure, including the cybersecurity protection.
Well, Minister Fedorov, thank you so much. It's such a treat to meet you and to learn all about this. And Ambassador Power, this is just another way that USAID is expanding its reach throughout the world under you. Thank you.
She's so happy, the girlfriend of Alan Greenspan. Oh my God, Alan Greenspan is ugly. She's so ugly. I don't know. When the two come together, it must be like, whatever. Okay, so this is the book. And as you can see, we touch on all the topics, including, of course, the fact that Ukraine might be the first country to completely sold their whole country to the devil with an app. That's it, you know, in a package, you know, and actually they're inspiring also other countries like Estonia. And we have been to Estonia. Christy has been to Estonia with me. I actually delivered a very detailed 2-hour interview on National Estonian Radio. Which
they have black magic over there.
Guys,
it's a very dark place, but it's beautiful. But it's very, like, if you like dark things like castles and darkness, you like it there. But
and then they really hate the Russians too much. They're obsessed.
Right.
Now let me show you, in fact, what's happening regarding Estonia, because we can get some inside information here from this newscaster from Ukraine.
Well, we don't have any papers in the studio because Ukraine is one of the most digitalized countries in the world. Moreover, the Ukrainian experience of a digital state in a smartphone is gaining popularity in the world. One of the most digitalized countries, Estonia, is implementing the state application mRiik, created on the basis of the Ukrainian DIA application. It will be tested already in February, and the full launch is planned for the middle of this year. In addition, USAID stated that the U.S. intends to recommend the Ukrainian DIA as a basis for e-government in other countries. This application was launched in 2020. It allows to save documents, register a business, and receive various government services in your smartphones. And within the wartime reality, DIA app became the most convenient and sometimes the only tool for obtaining government services. So be smart like Ukraine. That was Spotlight Ukraine. Thank you for watching.
Be smart like Ukraine. Now, I told you, I always warned you about being smart, because everything with smart is satanic. Now, I said that already in the past. I continued, actually wrote it even in my books, and it's a recurring thing that if it's smart, if your phone is smart, it's satanic. If your home is smart, it's satanic. If your car is smart, it's satanic. There is nothing smart about what they claim is smart. In my book, of course, I discuss all this, and I think that it's quite interesting to see, you know, how this digital economy for Ukraine and this.
But how can they trust the power grid?
I mean, they are complete.
I mean, when we were going through this hurricane, the first thing that went out was the 5G. I mean, that was the first thing that goes out. I mean, if your whole life is on your digitalized, I mean, then you lose your whole everything, and then you're, I mean, we can't count that this power grid is going to hold up. So I think we're going to lose electricity.
Yeah. Fortunately, we have at least one generator.
But what about these people that put their lives on the computer?
I think that depending from a smartphone is completely idiotic. I mean, these people are putting their bank, their passport, their everything, their life in an app. And then the guy was even claiming, oh, no data is, what are you talking about? That is a government app. And of course, all data is stored and then even probably sold.
Used against you?
Used against you, sold to other governments.
Become an ultra MAGA?
What do you mean? I mean, these people are going after the ultra MAGA.
I know, but if they find out you're one on your app that you're an ultra MAGA,
well, I mean, then after,
and then they'll arrest you, and then they'll take your mug shot, and then you're innocent, and then everybody, whatever. Anyway.
Well, this week, Christy was very upset about Donald J. Trump's mugshot, and I think
I don't think it's very, very good at all that our president has a mugshot. I think it's disgraceful that they've done this to him and to all those other patriots. And I think the whole thing is disgraceful. And I'm just sickened by all of it. And then the whole clown show after with them making fun of stupid things, you know, to distract. I mean, is that all you can think of?
Like Trump,
his weight and his height. I mean,
and...
that is so retarded. It's like I can't even watch it anymore. So I'm just going back to the 70s, the 80s, and I'm staying out of this decade.
Living in the past at times can be the solution, I guess.
But, you know, in the 70s, it was a way better life. I mean, I was watching back in the 70s, we had so much more exciting things going on. And like now there's nothing. There's nothing and there's
And then,
nothing.
of course, we have Ramaswamy, that is control, whatever his name, that Indian guy who is completely control opposition. He took his scholarship thanks to the Soros Foundation. And of course, is usual way for the system to try to absorb some dissent in a way that is acceptable to the system. Now, Donald J. Trump is not acceptable to the system because he doesn't compromise. So we have always supported Donald J. Trump.
And then people say, well, why do you support him? Who is the other
There is no alternative.
candidate?
There is no alternative.
one.
Guys, there is no way that Kennedy is going to go anywhere because the Democratic Party is a rigged system. And those who don't believe me just need to go and see what happened with Hillary Clinton the last time. It's always a rigged system. There was Hillary always placed as a candidate, then Joe Biden placed as a candidate. There was no opposition in the primary. It's a rigged party. So, I mean, Kennedy either presents itself as an independent or as a Democrat. He doesn't stand a chance. Then you have, of course, the Republican Party. I mean,
oh my God, what a joke.
I think that in any case, even doing the primaries for the Republican Party demonstrate that this party is a joke, because putting that clown show with Fox, which was not...
We didn't watch it.
I mean, it was impossible to watch. It was so boring. Tucker Carlson, of course, was a complete other thing. But there is, of course, then you know, we are all very worried what can happen because they're trying everything possible and imaginable against Trump. Let's not. I mean, it's like really.
I mean, you can see what they're trying to do, and you can see that you know they're gonna do it.
Okay, there is a passage of Tucker Carlson's interview, which I think deserves some attention. Because we can understand maybe a little bit more here, even Trump, you know, when he said, well, now, will they kill you now? I mean, he doesn't give a straight answer because, of course, he knows that is a serious possibility. So Trump is somebody who has not sold his soul to the devil. And let's watch this specific passage.
To ask you, that gets back to my original question. So if the protest didn't work, you got elected anyway. Yeah. Impeachment didn't work twice, obviously. Indictment is not working. Your poll numbers go up. When they raided Mar-a-Lago in August of last year, your numbers went up. They can indict you 20 times, and you're not gonna lose the Republican primary because of that.
Well, so it makes it look even more ridiculous. I mean, the 4 indictments, and maybe there'll be more.
You chart it out, it's an escalation, is what I'm saying. Yeah. So what's next? After, you know, try to put you in prison for the rest of your life, that's not working, so, like, don't they have to kill you now?
I think the people of our country don't get enough credit for how smart they are. And I'm not sure I would have said this 10 years ago, but they get it. You know, they really get it. When somebody gets indicted, your poll numbers go down. When somebody gets indicted, you announce, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be leaving to spend time with my family and to fight for the rest of my life on this stuff. But you're out of politics. I got indicted 4 times.
So what do you think, Christy? I mean, he didn't really answer it because it is a very heavy thing to answer, no? For somebody who is living,
well, you know,
I mean, I think that Trump is really demonstrating that he is.
He's got.
Well, he has balls of steel, and of course, he is playing a very dangerous game. Because of course this is his last possibility. Otherwise, he will end up with 700 and more years in jail. So this is like either jail for the American people as a political persecuted president, or either freedom in the White House as president of the American people. And everything starts to really show more and more what I've been saying already for many years, that in 2024-25 there is a very high possibility of a civil war, and people really need to take a little bit more seriously what Leo Zagami says in large advance on every single topic, because it's not because I want to be, but I said these things many years ago. And people didn't want to listen to me. I said in November 2020, even to Alex Jones, that they should focus on the 2024 elections immediately. That Stop the Steal thing was a distraction, and it was, of course, a trap, because, that I didn't like that. What was his name? That Ali guy. What was his name?
I don't remember now. Ali, whatever.
Ali, whatever. Ali Alexander. I don't know. Guys.
But he had become. No, never mind. What am I going to say?
I'm just telling you guys. I said it even at the last broadcast of 2020. I did an info. I said the 6th of January is not really what you think it is. So. And I advised all of the people I knew, and they're still thanking me, even within the Proud Boys and other organizations, don't go, it's a trap. So that's it. I mean, it was a trap, and it was also something that, of course, was in a way also AI driven, because suddenly this storm, this QAnon thing that materializes, and and everybody's following what? Following what? Leo Zagami told you what you should have done. I mean, the thing is, Christy, you were saying it to me in private the other day. I mean, you can't really aim to change things with something like a pathetic protest at Capitol Hill. You need, if you want to act seriously, then you form a militia. You form basically a force, a very big force. Possibly you have the support of several states, and at that point you have to break up from the union. I mean, that is a civil war. That is a civil war, and that is a serious thing, not a joke, not.
It's not something you do on the weekend, and then Monday you go back to work.
Yeah, no, it's not. I mean, it's not. No, people don't really get it.
No, and then a lot of people are on a loop. Mm-hmm. Of why is this happening, blah, 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 and they don't want to accept that this is happening. They keep saying why. Maybe not the people that are watching here, because we're pretty smart, but a lot of other people are on a loop, and it's just like, come on, you're going around and around on these things, and
guys,
I mean, there's just one thing you can do.
There will be
many
bad things that will be occurring in the next few years. But you need to get ready. You need to become aware. 7 steps to become more aware. 7 steps. We are today on step 4. 7 steps that you can then build upon your future. That's and it's your choice then.
But there's so much other things they have to do. It's not just that. You have to get right with God. That's the most important thing.
But they can't get right with God if you don't know what's happening. And so,
well, I mean, you do need to know what's happening, but I mean, God needs to be there too. So.
Of course. But did you feel that this book dedicated to God in some way?
Well, I felt like God was speaking to me through that book tell you the truth.
Right.
So, I mean, it was.
It's not just a book. It's not just a book. It's just, I mean, I think I stopped doing books a long time ago because I wanted to do something more. And I mean, even from the very beginning of my literary adventure or mission, whatever it is, I felt a call to write things. But of course, then, you know, it takes time to really summarize this whole New World Disorder in one book. And I think that I did a good job with this book that can be read without all the others.
Yeah.
Having said that, if you want to go on all the others, and then, you know, there's even Christie's books here. She did this one, volume 2, which is,
I was trying to order my first book, and then I made a mistake and ordered my second book. And then I ordered a hard copy, and I didn't even know I made these in hard copies. So I was bored one day, and I made a hard copy.
Well, that's good, but it's a good, very good book. And then you have, of course, Confession, volume 7, which also talks about the Great Reject. Now, more Americans than ever, this is an article just came out yesterday, I think, are going off the grid, are leaving the cities. So the message that I sent in this volume seems to be already received to a certain extent. I'm not saying, of course, I'm just one of the many people who, of course, talks about it, but I talk about it in a specific context, which is to reject in any way possible the new world disorder these people are putting us through. We are trying to build something new, and so when I saw this article that today also seems very interesting, I want to show to my viewers. We're talking about the technology and what's happening here. Now, in the last few months, they have constantly told us that airplane pilots, we don't have enough airplane pilots.
Yeah, I know.
And then suddenly today, they come up with the brilliant idea that to solve the problem, you can put a robot. Now, who is gonna, in its right mind,
ooh, they can't do that,
put the whole security of an airplane able to solve pilot shortage? And then there is, I mean, what a scenario.
Do you mean they want
Peabot, Nate Peabot is a robot, the life-size robot.
To drive the plane?
Yes.
Oh
pilot.
No! Have you seen what happens with the cars? We watched one with a car once. It was a disaster.
Well, today Elon Musk claims he has a better pilot. He just posted something today on Twitter, but whatever, yesterday. But in any case, watch this. This is basically what these people are telling. This pilot robot can dexterously control an airplane, and then they basically show you how it's done. But who is gonna, in the right sense of mind, who is gonna give their life to a robot to carry you on a plane?
No way.
It seems a really bad idea, but that's where we're heading. You see,
I haven't been on a plane since I came from Italy.
Now you might have Pybot. So this is all the result, of course, of this technological Faustinian bargain of sorts, no? But I would personally not trust, and I think very few people will trust. What do you think, Christy? I mean,
no way. No, I watched the video with the no. I wouldn't trust a robot. I don't even like flying anyway, so
yeah.
I'm not afraid, but I don't really like to fly.
Then you have all these people that basically are talking about
It's only the robots are good for the men that are really desperado and they can't get a woman, and so then they can just get a robot. And for these men that no woman will talk to them, so then they just get a robot, and then they feel good about themselves because they have this robot. Yeah. I think these loser men are going to do that. Sorry, guys, but That's what I think.
It's possible that what a lot of Japanese are
And maybe
already
women
doing,
too.
because Japanese culture is already prone to welcome robots in their household already, and it's been like this for a few years. This
I can see them liking some robot sex too.
robot sex too, eh?
Yeah.
Well, that's why I think that Americans are definitely panicking. The ones that have the right, the right sense of what is happening here, and that's why in this article which I read, which I wanted to check out, it was Zero Edge actually originally that put it out. American panic search live off grid, as housing crisis worsens and Democrat cities implode. So, we know that people are waking up. We know that people are starting to understand that we are heading towards this whole nightmare that can only be fought if you are self-sufficient, living from the land, living from your own cattle, having your own water. But that's why these billionaires are buying more and more land. That's another threat, They talk about the Chinese buying the land, and they apparently have stopped the Chinese from buying more land. But they're not talking about how to stop other billionaires like Bill Gates and others just buying and buying land. Land is being bought by these people. I mean, I was just watching the other day here. More land bought by mysterious company that nobody knows about, and millionaires that mystery company here. Watch, this is from 39 minutes ago, an article from Insider. No, this is they're buying land here
from Chinese people.
No, it's not only Chinese people, it's also silicon companies people, it's people like Bill Gates. Check this out. I want to show, this is happening right now. It's something that you should be worried about. It's something that people should denounce. And of course, the fact that a mystery, read this article, is very important. And, I think that it's very important for a mystery company backed by Silicon Valley billionaires has purchased tens of thousands of acres of land for more than 800 million to build a new city near San Francisco.
What?
A new city, because they want to build.
Didn't they ruin the other city enough?
Yeah, and then they're gonna build their smart city, hellish smart city. This is the result of the Illuminati selling their souls to the devil to rule the world. This is basically what's happening here.
Well, how do we get mixed up in it?
And and how we gonna save ourselves from all this? It's definitely something that people need to get ready for. Don't sell your land. Actually purchase land if you can. Try to become self-sufficient. Try to prepare in the next 7 years to go off the grid. Try to have an alternative plan in the next 7 years to go off the grid. Because by 2030, as I predicted in my books and in volume 9, I explain also why, the whole digital gulag around us, the tentacles of this web, will finally get all of us. And there is no way of stopping them. So it's pointless to complain or to think that we can reawaken most of the people, which will never want to even be awakened in the first place. Because go back to the myth, the allegory of the cavern of Plato with Socrates, and the whole show, the allegory of the cavern, is basically depicting Plato's cave is depicting these people who want to stay in the cave rather than go out of the cave because they're comfortable in the cave. And most people, unfortunately, are comfortable in this cave. And that's why the Illuminati sell their soul to the devil to rule the world, because they want to have a glimpse of what is out of the cave, and they also want to rule the people inside the cave. And they want to do all this by, in some way, and we were talking in private before, no, Christy, about the fact that you were saying, but why they are basically doing a bet with the devil. They are trying to fraud the devil. Isn't that like frauding? They're trying to fraud God, you said. No, they're trying to...
No, I said, I thought that why isn't the devil their friend? I mean, why would they want to trick
the devil is the friend of nobody, first
but
of
they
all.
think he's their, don't they think that's their buddy?
But it's never going to be their buddy. It's going to always trick them and ultimately lead them to believe...
I know that.
That they are their own gods, and lead them back into the same errors that were done at the time in Atlantis, which is another of the future episodes here that we have in mind as we're going to go through the various steps of my latest book. Thank you for tuning in today. Is Rambo going to say bye-bye to our audience today? He's sleeping. Yeah. Okay. Rambo is sleeping. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you want to know more about what we discussed today, very simple, just get the book. You can find it on Amazon. You can find the link at leozagami.com. It's volume 9 of my Confessions series. Here we go. How was today's episode, Christy?
It's very good.
I think that we managed to synthesize the content of step 4, and I think we helped a lot of people realizing we don't have much time, but we can also do the right decisions and prepare for us, for our family and friends, for a better future away from this smart. Be smart like Ukraine. Oh, how can you say that? Okay. That's it. I had enough. I think so. Be smart like Ukraine.
Bye, everyone. See you
Bye,
next time.
everyone.
Have a nice week. God bless you all.
God bless you all. We survived Hurricane Hillary. No problem. No problem.
Marilyn down in Palm Springs, because there's a big statue of her. She gave Hillary the 1-2 punch. She knocked her out, knocked her down, so she didn't come over here.
Nice.
What are you doing?
I'm just trying to...
You're breaking apart the studio.
No. Actually, it's something interesting. See, I put in front of the camera.
That's my dad.
Yeah, flag. Watch.
Ooh, that's cool.
That's cool. Huh? Let's save the United States of America against these evildoers who want to...
We're going to win. Don't worry, guys. We're going to win.
Destroy it.
We're going to win. We already know it. So
we know
just got to do the right things to get there.
They will receive the mark of the beast, and we will not.
And then we'll have the kingdom of God on earth.
And don't comply.
Don't comply.
Don't comply. Take care, guys. And that's all, and a little bit more from Palm Springs, California.